Good morning to all. Today I will be taking the lecture series Utilization of non-arable lands, and the topic which I will be covering is agroforestry for soil and water conservation. Before we move forward, the first thing is to know what exactly is agroforestry. By definition, if we go, agroforestry is a land use system where woody perennials are grown in association with crops and obligor animals in some form of spatial or temporal arrangement. There should be economic and ecological interaction between these components. So it means that woody perennial means that there should be tree, which should be an essential part of agroforestry system, and crops and animals means agriculture crops or animals, either animals are grazing or we have fodder crops, and they should be in some form of spatial or temporal arrangement. Spatial arrangement means with reference to distance between tree to tree, or temporal arrangement means with reference to sowing or harvesting of the crops. And there should be economic and ecological interaction between the components. The economic interaction means one component is affecting the production and as well as its income generation capability. And ecological interaction means they are interacting with each other for the resources like water, light, nutrients, etc. If they are interacting, if the components which are involved in this agroforestry, if they are interacting with each other, then and only then it will be called as agroforestry. Otherwise, if two trees are wide apart and they are not interacting or affecting each other growth, either positive, negative or neutral, so they are not to be considered as agroforestry. So there should be an interaction between the components which are part of agroforestry. So just to show how an agroforestry system looks like, this is a silvipastoral system. So trees are there. So this tree is referred to as woody perennials in the definition. So trees are the woody perennials, as woody perennials in the sense that they are having long gestation period, and they have another important thing is they should have a secondary growth. Secondary growth means their diameter should increase. And the associated, here it is grass, that's why it is silvipasture. It can be agriculture crops also. So then and only then it will be called as agroforestry. Now, how do we nomenclate agroforestry system? There are different types of agroforestry system. They are categorized on the basis of structure, function, economics, and ecology also. But from the sake of convenience and for the beginners, I am taking on the basis of the component. Component means what type of crop or tree is grown. So we nomenclate it as agri-silviculture. So silviculture here means forest trees, that is the trees which provide fodder, fuel and timber. So like teak, like sal, so these are silviculture trees, forest trees. So this is agriculture, silviculture. So this nomenclature of agroforestry system shows or reflects that there is an agriculture crop and there is a forest trees associated with each other. Then another one is agri-horticulture. Here itself means agriculture crop is there. This agriculture crop can be wheat or even vegetable crops. And horticulture means fruit crops, fruit trees. So agriculture is there and fruit trees are there. Then hortisilviculture. Horticulture is also there. Horticulture tree or crop is there, and forest tree or forest tree is also there. So this is hortisilviculture. So agriculture component is absent in hortisilviculture. Then agri-silvi-horticulture. There are three components now: agriculture, forestry, silvi means, and horticulture means fruit trees. So agri-silvi-horticulture, all three components are when associated at a same land use system, that system will be called as agri-silvi-horticulture agroforestry system. Silvipasture, as previously I have shown, silvi means forest trees and pasture means grasses. And horti silvipasture, here again three components are there. Horticulture crop is there, means fruit trees is there. Forest trees, silvi and pasture means grasses are there. So one more thing had to be clarified is that which word should be prefixed and which should be suffixed. So the word agri silviculture in this case, why agri is kept as prefix and why silviculture as suffix? This is done because prefix word will come for that component which extent is more. So agriculture area crop under agriculture crop is having larger area, that's why it is agri silviculture. In case of horti silviculture, that means horticulture component is occupying more space as compared to silviculture system. And in agri silvi horticulture, agriculture is occupying more space, followed by the silviculture, forestry, and less space is given to horticulture crop. It can be other way around also, agri horti silvi. So in that case, horticulture trees will be more and forest trees will be less. So that way the nomenclature on the basis of the component goes. So one by one I will show you the photographs of these components. So see these, the first one is aquaforestry. So aqua, we know it is water, and forestry means trees. So aquaforestry, when this is agroforestry system where trees are grown on the bunds of the pond. So this becomes aquaforestry. And poplar based agri silviculture system. So poplar plant in Indo-Gangetic region, this poplar plant is very famous. So it is grown at its appropriate spacing, and in between agriculture is done. So wheat, paddy, etc. are done in between the rows. Then Casuarina equisetifolia based agri silviculture. This system is prevalent in coastal areas because Casuarina grows there. So you can see trees are spaced well and crop is taken in between the rows of trees. In similar way, this is Dalbergia shishu, that means shisham, and mango, Mangifera indica based agri silviculture system. You can see the arrangement of the components. So many a times what happens when hot wind blows, there is a desiccation of the flower in case of mango, and hence fruit set is less. To protect these mango plants from hot winds, a row of Dalbergia shishu spaced at very close spacing are put on the boundary of the mango orchard. So what this Dalbergia shishu will do, it will improve the microclimatic conditions of the area. So whatsoever hot wind will be blowing, it will, one thing, it will reduce the speed of the wind, and also it will decrease the temperature of the hot winds. So by that way the mango trees flower desiccation and fruit drop will be reduced. So that way it will be beneficial on one hand from the production point of view of mango, and secondly later on when Dalbergia shishu grows to its rotation age, it can be harvested and income can be generated. So a dual purpose advantage can be taken. So in humid area where moisture is not a constraint, here we can grow the trees, that perennial component, at a very close spacing. But now when we grow trees at a very closer spacing, what will happen? Shade will be there. So in that case we will select such crops, agriculture crops, which are shade demander or shade tolerant. In this case arrowroot is planted with Acacia mangium close spacing. So arrowroot is a light demander species, and hence it will grow well under this. The other crops which are light demander are like turmeric, colocasia, ginger, and so forth. The another one is horti silvipasture. That means three components are associated. So as I told, the first one is guava, Then silviculture is Melina arborea, and Stylosynthis hamata is the associated crop over here. So why horti means guava component is more as compared to Melina silvi component. Then another multi-tier system where in humid region is also prevalent. In this case, you can see arecanut is growing, then banana is also growing, and black pepper is climbing on the arecanut. So this system is also agroforestry system for humid region. Another improved home garden system or multi-tier system is this one, where 5 components are associated with at a same place on the basis of their height, and also agriculture crops can also be grown. This system, the other angle of this system is this one. This bigger tree is Albizia procera, a timber species. Then Areca catechu, arecanut, banana, and then this is citrus plant, which the variety is Gandharaj, which is very popular in humid region of West Bengal and Assam. And in between the rows you can take some shade loving crop. Then where moisture is a constraint, there we cannot go in for high density plantation. So in that case, this is a mango trees spaced apart so that there is no moisture competition, and cowpea, this is agri-horticulture system. Then mango plus sorghum based agri-horticulture system. Sorghum is agriculture component and mango is horticulture system. Now when spacing is very wide in moisture stressed area, so we can take 2 different crops in between the trees depending upon the farmer's choice. Here it is ragi plus sesamum in acacia mengium based agri-silviculture system. This is a hedgerow intercropping system where Leucaena leucocephala is grown at a very dense spacing, and it is kept as a hedge. So by doing so, it will not pose competition for the crop with reference to shade. So this is guar, which is grown in between. So this is hedgerow intercropping system. So in similar way, wheat is being taken in the hedgerow intercropping of Leucaena leucocephala. So this is a silvipasture system where Leucaena and Citeria grass is grown. This is a Morus alba based agri-silviculture system. So Morus tree is grown at in a linear fashion, and crops are taken in between the rows. So this is horti-silviculture, where agriculture component is not there, only horticulture crops and Leucaena. You can see there are more trees of horticulture crop, and they have covered more area as compared to forest trees. So that's why it is horti-silviculture system. So horticulture component, and in previous slide we have shown you that Leucaena is kept as a hedge. But now if on the basis of requirement and also on the basis of the character of the species, we can utilize that species for our advantage. There we want less shade, that's why we have kept Leucaena as a hedgerow. Here to utilize the space, we are allowing the Leucaena to take the upper canopy so that its canopy can grow well. So during winter, when the citrus plant Kinnu requires diffuse sunlight for development of the color, at that time, to avoid shade, Leucaena is pruned and fodder is utilized, and the Kinnu is getting good quality color. And when we harvest the Kinnu fruits, thereafter we allow the Leucaena to have the profuse branching. So that way this is both way beneficial. So since agroforestry is stressing upon keeping trees in the agriculture crops, with the agriculture crops, so why we are doing this, we are advocating to keep trees in the agriculture fields because they are having some inherent advantages. These inherent advantages are that the trees are capable of thriving well under odd circumstances of water scarcity, poor nutrient, and require less intensive management compared to annual crops. So in case of droughts or some drought years, so what will happen? Crops will be failed, but trees will be able to provide some kind of income to the farmer. Then another property of trees is that they are capable of pumping nutrients from deeper soil layer. And when we give fertilizer to the agriculture crops, so those fertilizer which are soluble in nature, they go beyond the root zone of the agriculture crops. So there we have the advantage of the trees, that these trees have horizontal root expanse at the lower depth, so they will be able to utilize that leached nutrients which otherwise those crops will never be able to obtain. So many of the trees are also nitrogen fixation, and also through litter fall they also improve the soil organic matter, and hence the soil physical properties and chemical properties are also improved by the trees. So that is the advantage of the tree. So now with this we know that trees are important in our agriculture fields, and how we can arrange them and how we can nomenclate them. So now I will be showing you some of the soil conservation soil conservation properties which trees can provide. See, an experiment was taken where we have taken cultivated fallow, 2 crops, trees introduced, 2 crops, tree and fodder grass introduced, and so forth. And this is the number of years of observation, so more than 3 years all observations are there. Soil loss and runoff is given with each land use system. So now we start from cultivated fallow, top up approach. If we are advocating or practicing cultivated fallow, the soil loss is 5.65 tons per hectare per year, and the runoff is 23%. As soon as we increase the crop, Sesame brassica, 2 crops, so the soil loss is just reduced to half, 2.69, and 20% is the runoff. So runoff is not that much reduced, but soil loss is drastically reduced by simply having 2 crops. Then when trees are introduced, poplar, leucaena, and grass, bhabur is a grass. So here again soil loss is reduced to just half, and runoff is also reduced extensively. So in similar way, when we introduce different types of trees and the associated crop, either grass or agriculture crop, the runoff and soil loss decreases tremendously. So that means to say, it is the tree which is protecting the soil and the runoff. It is not the any tree, but it is the type of the tree also which will have influence on soil, reducing soil loss and runoff. One horticultural experiment with Amla, Imblica officinalis, was done. 3 grass species, Chrysopogon, hybrid Napier, and perennial pigeon pea was taken. So in first 4 years, without grass also it was grown as a sole Amla. So in first 4 years we can see that incorporation of the grasses as compared to Sol Amla has reduced the runoff from 20% to 5.99 and 13.8%. So the best grass species is Chrysopogon fulvus. Post bearing, because after 4 or 5 years this tree becomes large and it starts bearing. So we have taken an average of post bearing stage also. The runoff in case of Sol Amla it increases, whereas in other crops though it increases, but it has not increased to that extent. That means to say that the incorporation of associated crops had improved the health of the soil. In previous slide I have shown that it is the incorporation of the tree which improves the runoff and soil loss. Here it is the incorporation of the associated crops which also impact. So it is both way around. Either way, when two species are introduced, they will improve the resource conservation capability of the land use system. So now the question arises, why there is increase in runoff after post bearing? It is because of the fact that as the tree grows, these grasses are light demander. So when trees grows in its canopy, there is a partial shade and hence the production of the grasses decreased. That's why runoff has increased a little bit in post bearing stage, both in case of Sol Amla as well as in case of system where grasses was introduced. So with runoff and soil loss also has the same trend. Earlier it was about 3 tons per hectare per year, and for Sol Amla, and when grasses were introduced it was quite less. And in post bearing stages the soil loss has also decreased because by that time, because of the grasses, the roots of the grasses, the soil physical properties have increased and infiltration has also increased. That's why there is less sediment losses. So the calculation was done that how much soil and water is conserved under this horticulture system. So this is the calculation that in pre-bearing stages, when only tree is grown, so 2.9 tons per hectare per year of soil loss is conserved, and whereas in other cases also there is a conservation of soil as well as water, rainwater. So these resources are conserved by incorporating both the component, that is perennial component and the agriculture components. So in another experiment, 3 types of land use was taken: C, cultivated, forest and orchards. So they have their inherent character. Forest where it can be it is multi-tier and soils are not disturbed. In orchard, soils are disturbed, lower vegetation is absent. Cultivation, there is cover for small period of time. So it was these 3 land use systems were compared for dispersion ratio, erosion ratio, water stable aggregates. So if we see that dispersion ratio of cultivated land is quite high, 20.42 and 21.82, whereas the dispersion ratio is less for forest soils, 11 and 12.93, and orchard is in between both the land use system. Erosion ratio, again erosion ratio is higher for the cultivated lands and it is less for forest lands. water stable aggregates which were more than 0.25 mm diameter, water stable aggregates were higher for forest and lowest for agriculture crops, because agriculture crops are plowed back every 6 months, whereas in case of forest there is no disturbance to the soil. That's why water stable aggregates increases, because organic matter is also increased. So that way forest land use systems are having better dispersion ratio, erosion ratio and water stable aggregates. And in similar way their forest soils are also having higher MWDs. Erodibility. So whether non-agroforestry has more erodibility or agroforestry system, wherever tree components are there, their erodibility is less. So and in this can be for dispersion ratio. You can see a non-agroforestry system, that is agriculture system, their dispersion ratio is more in different types of soil, surface soil, subsurface soil and types of different types of soils. And whereas in agroforestry system, whether whatsoever kind of soil is there, so the dispersion ratio is lesser. In similar way, water stable aggregate more than 0.5 mm was also determined, and in agroforestry system the water stable aggregates either in loamy sand or loamy soils or sandy clay loam, the water stable aggregates are higher, and thus they are having less dispersion ratio. Now erodibility indices of soil, this is again for barren cultivated land, cultivated managed lands and forest lands. Here also different parameters of the soil like erosion ratio, dispersion ratio, it is higher for and erosion index, this is higher for cultivated land, and if cultivated uncultivated barren lands, and if it is cultivated managed land, a little bit lesser erosion ratio, dispersion ratio and erosion index. And for forest land, these erosion ratio, dispersion ratio and erosion index is less. So that way tree component, wherever more tree components are there, the health of the soil will be much better. So how these erodibility, dispersion ratio affects the resource conservation. So runoff and soil loss in these land use systems were compared. So taking August to September rainfall, you can see the runoff under cultivation was very high, about 65 mm in case of August, and around 44 mm in case of September month. And for runoff under orchard was 40, and in case of September month it was around 30. So whereas the runoff under forest was quite less, and which was around 24, that means around 2 to 3 times lesser than that of agriculture cultivated areas. So that way the soil physical properties had improved wheresoever tree component are more, and they translate into better natural resource protection. Not even in cultivated, but in non-arable lands which are difficult sites like mine spoils, treatments like vegetative measures, they also improve the whole of the system. A mine spoil in Sahastradhara was taken as one of the area where mine spoil outflow before treatment was 550 tons per hectare per year. When mechanical and vegetative measures like tree growing and grass were grown, so this mine outflow has decreased to 6 tons per hectare per year. In similar way, surface runoff also decreased from 57% to 37%. Lean period flow of that stream increased from 60 days to more than 240 days, and the water quality had also improved. Earlier, the water which was coming out of the area was non-portable, whereas it was portable after the tree vegetation or grass vegetation had grown fully in that area. Vegetative cover had also increased from 10 to 80%, and this vegetative cover had improved all parameters like improved water quality and lean period flow of the water, and also reduced the surface runoff. Cost of debris had also become nil after the treatment. Now another experiment had been taken, and here erosion permitting crop like maize was taken, and because maize cultivation is done in such a way that we had to disturb the soil, so that's why it is called as erosion permitting soil, whereas turmeric, in case of this, is not a erosion permitting soil, because in case of turmeric we give mulching to it, so that adds to that covers the soil, and hence we expect that soil loss will be less. So taking this table from bottom top, if cultivated fallow is there, the soil deposition is 39 tons per hectare per year, and if Leucaena, maize and wheat is taken, then 11.23 tons per hectare per year is soil deposition. And as if turmeric is grown with eucalyptus, the average soil loss is 11.52. However, when only maize is introduced, which is erosion permitting, the soil loss increased to 20.62 tons per hectare per year. In similar way, if Leucaena is taken as a woody component, if turmeric is associated, it is the soil loss is 10 tons per hectare per year. And if maize is taken, so two different type field was taken, and it is 28.5 and 51.3. so that means to say, it is also the type of the crop which allows the natural resource to erode. So whenever we want to protect the area for soil loss, we have to concentrate on the type of the crop also, not only type of the tree but also type of the crop. So this way we can say that incorporation of the trees in the agriculture field is important, both from the point of view of natural resource management conservation and also from the income generation point of view. It is not only the trees which makes the difference, but it is the associated agriculture crops also which will make the impact on natural resource conservation and income generation. So choice of the species is important, choice of the component is important, and this will depend upon the choice of the species of the farmer and also the local conditions prevailing in that area. Thank you very much.